Welcome to my show, Olio. My name is Susan Rushton, and as always, I need to explain what Olio means before we go any further. One definition is that it's short for olla podrida, which is Spanish for rotten bowl, which I just get such a kick out of. It's a Spanish-Portuguese dish with essentially everything in the world in it. Pork in all its iterations, sausage, pig's feet, bacon, chicken, chickpeas, spinach, carrots, cabbage, and cabbage, beans, onions, and garlic. As I said, essentially everything in the world in it, except Neapolitan ice cream and saltines. That's one definition of olio. Another definition is that olio is what comes in between acts of a melodrama. You might have somebody singing or doing a skit or juggling, and none of it has anything to do with anything else, and none of it has anything to do with the melodrama. So in other words, it's apples, oranges, and a monkey wrench. So welcome to my monkey wrench. Today, my guests are following up on our last production, in which I interviewed two members from Protect Rural Placer who are concerned about the addition to the Hidden Falls Park. Hidden Falls is in West Auburn, but then there's a connection off of Bell and Kramer, essentially. My guests today are two of my favorite supervisors because they deal with Auburn, and I'm fond of them anyway. This is you are not supervisor, Jim Holmes.
I'm currently the chair of the Board of Supervisors.
Chair.
You call me Jim.
Oh, thank you.
Not Mike. Call me Jim.
I will call you Jim.
All right.
And Supervisor Jennifer Montgomery.
Oh yeah, not Holmes.
Right. No, not
part
at all.
of the
They're
notorious
already
Holmes family.
talking.
Yes, but Jennifer, you cover District 5, which
I do.
includes North Auburn?
Yes, it's everything from the city of Auburn all the way east to the state line of Nevada at Kings Beach,
Okay,
including North Auburn.
thank you. And Jim, you refer your focus is District 3, which is where?
Well, I represent the west side of Highway 49 in North Auburn, and then the community of Ophir, Penryn, Newcastle, the town of Loomis, and some of the outskirts, and then about 70% of the city of Rockland.
Okay, great. I appreciate your joining me. And when we were greeting each other, Jennifer, you said that when the Board of Supervisors voted for this addition, the two of you voted no,
We did.
Right.
That's correct.
and the other three voted yes.
Mm-hmm.
The people who live here or who focus on this area voted no. But that's not the final vote, correct? What did that original vote mean?
Well, I think I'll turn this over to Chairman Holmes.
Well, I think what happened was, since we were in negotiations with confidential negotiations with the property owner, there wasn't any ability to daylight what was going on. And then when it came to the Board of Supervisors to move forward, then we had several people from the North Auburn area, people that I've grown up with, people that I've known all my life, came, and they're very upset that they thought there was some kind of a skullduggery, I guess you want to call it, going on, and if that wasn't the case, this was just a first step. But I agreed with them that it should have been more daylighted before we took action.
Yeah, and I would say that I'm very much in line with what Jim had to say. Additionally, my concern is just around how we allocate limited resources. And when I talk about limited resources, I'm really talking about the dollars that Placer County can put to land acquisition, either for recreation or to protect agricultural assets. And this is, it's a significant purchase. It has potentially significant implications for folks in North Auburn. But on a very sort of internal reason for me, I really want to focus on protecting agricultural assets using our dollars rather than creating recreational access.
But what's wrong with creating recreational access?
Absolutely
I'm speaking as a devil's advocate here.
Absolutely, and as someone who is surrounded by 3,500 acres where I live of public access, it's a fantastic thing. If we had all the money in the world, which we don't, I would say let's look at access and protecting agricultural assets, but we don't have all the money in the world. And so we have to make hard choices about where we use public dollars.
Okay. And this addition, this proposed, it is proposed,
Right.
correct?
That's
it is
correct.
not, it's not a done deal.
No.
Okay. The more one reads about this addition, the proposed addition to the Hidden Falls, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The more one learns about it, then learns that it is not a done deal. And I recommend that people search online to Hidden Falls Edition in Placer County. There's a lot there. In addition, in particular, where there are FAQs, facts, frequently asked questions about Hidden Falls. If you're concerned, investigate. If you're concerned, you need to write letters. If you're concerned, you need to go to the city council. No.
Board of Supervisors.
Board of Supervisors.
Go to the city council, that's better.
No. So what? Why has this addition been recommended?
Well, I think, and Jim, back me up or feel free to disagree with me on this. I think it's been recommended because we do recognize that Hidden Falls particularly and some of the other open space assets that the Placer Land Trust has acquired, people want to visit them. And currently our access to Hidden Falls is very limited. And so we need to look at alternatives that could be palatable to people to increase that access, because we hear it very clearly. The number one thing people in Placer County say that they want around recreation is additional trails and access to open space. We hear that consistently, whether it's from folks in highly urbanized areas like Roseville or very, very rural areas like Forest Hill. So we have this conflict of having some fantastic open space and limited access to it. I'm just not certain that this is the correct access.
Okay. When the Hidden Falls Park was in process when I took office in 2005, and finally we approved it, but it was an overwhelming success. We had no idea whether anybody would either come out other than the locals. And what happened was, in the San Francisco Chronicle, there's this 2-page spread about Hidden Falls Park in Placer County, and that's what I think set everybody coming from out of the area coming to.
And word spread.
And word spread, and it's very beautiful. But so now they have to have us, particularly on weekends. They have to get online and get a permit or pass to come into the park, and it's just been overwhelmed. We had people parking clear as far down at the bottom of Mount Vernon and hiking back in to go into the park. And so then we got all the neighbors, rightly so, were upset. So now there's over 100 no parking signs on Mount Vernon Road going down and coming back up. And so it's been such a success that we need to find another access.
Be careful what you wish for.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so my concern, and I'm sure that people that live in that area, is if we create another access, do we create another problem? And that's what has to be looked at in the environmental impact report.
Okay.
It's coming out in January. It should be here.
So the draft environmental impact report is in the process of being.
It's in the process.
Okay.
And one of the issues they'll be looking at very carefully is traffic. Because I've driven back those. That's how I learned to drive back in the day, taking all the back roads. And if you ran into a ditch, someone would come along that knew you. So
Good.
yeah.
Okay.
And so I understand those narrow roads and then curves and everything, and they're old farm to market roads. And, there's not much room there to expand them, and we certainly don't want to have to do that. If we expand the roadways, then people are going to complain about people speeding as they already are, only more so. Yeah, so it's a conundrum.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it is. And frankly, one of the things that I've really asked staff to look at the county as an alternative is we actually own a piece of property on the west side of Hidden Falls, about 40 acres that the county acquired, about 5-6 years ago, Jim?
Yeah.
And that has some good possibility actually for additional access and additional parking. And I've said rather than leap into something else, let's take a look at the assets we have now and see how we can utilize those things we already own to get to the outcomes that folks want, which is more access to recreational opportunities in Placer County.
Okay. And when will you hear back? Do you know when you'll hear back from the staff?
Well, I'm hopeful that that will be addressed, at least in part, around this larger analysis, this EIR, to say, here are other options. CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, says that you've got to look at an array of potential projects that you could move forward. One is do nothing. The other could be acquire Twilight Ride. The other could be take a look at this piece of property on the west side and figure out what it would take to make that part of the solution.
So looking at different alternatives is part of the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
The people who are adamantly against this, should they, it seems to me that maybe they should pay attention to the fact that this is not a done deal, that there's still major discussion. At the same time, you two who are focused primarily in Auburn are the minority on the board in this case.
Yes.
What would you tell people who are against this, as because at the moment it's 3-2.
I would explain the process to the people, and what I tell them, and I've told them this before, they're doing everything right. They're organized. They're being vocal about their feelings and bringing it. I've been to several meetings with them and talked to each of them individually, and I've been out to tour the property, and as Supervisor Montgomery has. And so they're doing everything right. They have this is part of our process, and they have the constitutional right to express their concerns. And again, they're doing it in the right way.
Absolutely, and frankly, there is an opportunity, and I don't know what that is because Jim is my Brown Act contact on this, so I haven't spoken with any of the other supervisors about their positions. But we're going to have a new member of the Board of Supervisors in January, before the draft EIR comes out. There may certainly be opportunities for members of the public to go speak to Bonnie Gore, who will be our new county supervisor representing District 1. She may have a different perspective than Supervisor Duran did. It's always critically important from my perspective that members of the community speak not just to their representatives, but to all 5 of us at the board, because 2 people can't make something happen on the board. It takes 3 votes. And again, because of the Brown Act, Jim and I can't go lobby other county supervisors, though frankly I've been encouraged by many people to do that, and I've explained that that's not actually legal. But I think there's opportunities potentially there with a little bit of change right there in District 1.
Not too many years ago, we looked at access from the Spears Ranch, which is out on Garden Bar, and we had the same neighbors in the area and were upset and came forward and expressed their concerns, and rightly so. And we decided that you still have access, but we don't promote it or anything. So it's there's a real steep curve on Garden Bar that horse trailers and vehicles of that nature have trouble with. So anyhow, for good reasons, it was the access was abandoned.
Okay.
I mean, we can still go out there, if we need to take care of the property or anything, but we don't allow access into the hidden vaults.
Okay. So what I'm getting from you is not only have opponents approached you carefully and with respect.
Some to a certain degree are a little bit disrespectful, but that's okay. That's part of our system.
It's what
And
we signed up for.
Yeah, we understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the board has listened carefully.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And I think one of the frustrations that people have with the public process is that many times it appears that board members aren't listening because they vote, in opposition to someone's stated perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to recognize that even when someone votes against your personal perspective, it doesn't mean they haven't heard you, and it doesn't mean they actually haven't considered what you had to say. They, for one reason or another, may just come up with a different answer, a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I think it's one of the things about our board that's actually really heartening. Yes, Jim and I lost on this particular vote, on a 2-3 vote, but we continue to move forward, trying to make positive change, trying to affect the outcome in the ways that we can, and we do it civilly. And the 3 other board members who voted in favor of this do it civilly as well, and that is just so critically important.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So, often the message I get from the larger picture beyond Placer County is that, people don't matter. People, the little guy, what difference does it make? But what the message I'm getting from you is that the little guy does matter as far as Placer County is concerned. What advice do you give to people who are concerned about something? What should they do rather than fret?
I go to and I think Supervisor Montgomery does as well, voter outreach for our elections department, goes to the high schools. And I first of all, I explain what local government is, because local government actually gets things done, no matter how long it takes.
I note you're looking directly into the camera there.
Right.
Yes.
But I always tell them, get involved in local government. Go to your city council, your school board, and sometimes it's boring, but go and be informed.
Yes.
Because local government's the ones that has to follow through state and federal guidelines to provide the programs. And so it's very important for them to try to understand the system, is to get involved locally. If you try to figure out what's going on in the state of California or the federal government, you're lost before you start. Start at the local level.
You have to work sometimes.
Right.
And I actually, so I love what Jim just said, but what I actually encourage people to do, and we're coming up on an election, so this is the perfect time. Local government is probably the most direct in terms of effect on you as an individual.
Right.
We take care of things that you encounter every day, whether it's roads or parks or mental health services or libraries or any of these issues. So I always encourage people, and I just voted this morning, and I just turned my ballot in at elections. Yes, I voted. I always encourage people, start at the back of your ballot, because those generally are the things that are going to be closest to you in terms of impact.
Right.
Start at the back of your ballot and work backwards. And that's when you get to state and federal. Mm-hmm. But frankly, those probably have the least impact on you as an individual.
Okay.
I was in a local parts store this weekend, and I was in line to make my purchase, and there was a guy behind me. And
who recognized you?
he said, "You're Jim Holmes." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, it's nice to meet you," and everything was fine. And then he said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" And he had an issue that he was concerned about, and I always carry little cards around, so I wrote it down, put his name, and now I'm looking into this issue for him. Now, there may be no resolution for it, but at least I'd give him an explanation. But that's how Jennifer and I, when we show up in the store, you know, by the time we get to what we were going to buy, we forgot what we were there for. But that's our role. We need to be accessible and approachable, and I enjoy that, and it's part of the deal.
I've met lots of approachable people,
Right.
and the two of you are two of those lots of approachable people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and to follow up on Jim's very amusing but absolutely true comments, I have actually had to change the way I shop now. So when I go grocery shopping, I buy my frozen stuff last because I get stopped so often in the store from people who, sometimes they just want to say hi, catch up on what's going on. Other times, as Jim has had occur, they have particular issues that they want me to look into. I don't carry little note cards. I carry a iPhone and I put little texts into myself. But it's
fat fingers.
Yeah. But I will tell you, being out in North Auburn, I've been approached by a lot of people who are both concerned about the Twilight Ride acquisition and others who are very supportive of it. And the conversations I've had with them, and I think the explanation that really most people understand, while they may not agree with it, is we have limited resources at the county, and I want to make sure we are using them most effectively. And my perspective is protecting agricultural assets like the Oast Ranch that we just protected is more important from my perspective, given the limited resources, than recreational access. Recreational access is important, but if we don't protect the open space that we have now, we're not going to have any opportunities for access in the future.
Okay. Yes.
Some of the concerns out there are they're cattle ranchers, and the Oast Ranch in particular, we just preserved that. They've been ranching since the 1850s, but there's other ranchers out there in that area, in Twilight Ride area, and it's interesting that for the first time, the 2017 crop report showed that beef production outdid rice production in Placer County in 2017, and that's a phenomenal, because rice was always number one.
Yeah.
And Twilight Ride.
That's the property on Kramer, Bell and Kramer that we're discussing.
That's the name of the property that
Yeah.
the county is proposing to acquire.
Okay. I want to show you this. I hope you can see it. This is the black and white version of the Hidden Falls Regional Park Trail Expansion Project FAQs, FAQS, frequently asked questions. It's in color on your computer. So do some investigation. One of the questions is what is the schedule for the subsequent environmental impact report, and how can I voice my opinions? Coming up late 2018 is draft subsequent environmental impact should be available for public review and comment.
And that's actually been pushed back to early 2019.
Okay.
So we will not see the draft EIR until early 2019, and there's a number of reasons for that. There's more analysis that needed to be done, but also Jim and I have been advocating very strongly that we not release environmental impact reports just before the holidays when people have so much else on their calendars.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yes. And so how can a person view, when this environmental impact report is finished, how can a person view that?
It'll be online at Placer County Planning Department, and also we'll have a copy at the Auburn Library.
At the Auburn Library?
Yeah, there's always a draft.
At the Auburn Library, 350 Nevada Street.
Placer County Library in Auburn.
Yes.
Placer County Library in Auburn, 350 Nevada Street.
And there's also normally a copy of it at 175 Fulweiler, which is the Domes at the Clerk of the Board's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And I see in the first quarter, staff will seek a recommendation on, first quarter 2019, staff will seek a recommendation on the proposed project from North Auburn and Rural Auburn Max. One of you is on that, right?
We actually share the North Auburn Municipal Advisory Council.
As a founding member, I thought it'd be important for me to stay on.
Yes, sir. Yes. So there's plenty of information about Hidden Falls and tell me again, it's Hidden Trails?
Twilight
Twilight
property,
Ride.
which would provide access.
So if you are concerned about it, please continue to do your research. Continue to attend Board of Supervisors meetings and make your concerns heard or your enthusiasm heard, because it matters.
There will be more municipal advisory council meetings in North Auburn and rural Lincoln. There'll be a workshop for the Planning Commission, and before it comes back to the Board of Supervisors, it's going to go before the Planning Commission. So they'll all the people that want to talk about this, there'll be ample opportunity to express their viewpoint.
Okay.
And once the draft EIR comes out, there will be opportunity for people to review it, to comment on it. Then those comments go back to staff. They have to work with our environmental group that's working on it. I believe it's Ascent that we have in this case.
You believe it's a what?
It's
Well,
called
there's a company.
Ascent
Yeah,
Environmental.
that we contract
Yeah,
with,
that we contract with, but they're an outside group.
Yeah.
And then they actually have to respond to all the
Yeah,
issues that
yeah.
people raise, and that's what comes back at some point as the final EIR.
Okay. Okay. Now, if people want to contact residents of Placer County, if people want to contact you guys or anybody else,
Was J. Montgomery. placer.ca.gov//board BOS. Yeah.
And there they all are.
Right.
And with contact us, a great link to contact us. And some of the supervisors have assistants, some of them don't.
No, we all have.
We all do.
Okay, okay. I couldn't find emails for assistance for all of you.
Oh, okay.
But for the two of you, I think I could.
Yeah.
But and as you can see here, these people are willing and happy and eager to respond to concerned citizens, and I'm gratified. Partly, but well, not partly, but Jim used to say that you're out and about and you carry a
Little cards.
these
yeah,
cards,
write 'em down.
and you're approachable
Right.
and polite, and
Well, try to be.
well, we all try.
He was raised right.
You succeed, buddy. So what we're learning, what I've learned is that the project is not a done deal. It's certainly in the works. Investigation is in the works.
Right.
And if you want to learn more, you need to go online, look at the paper, investigate at online Hidden Falls Edition in Placer County. Friends, colleagues,
Right.
co-workers, I appreciate the two of you joining me today, and I've had a great time and I've learned a lot.
Good.
Yes.
It's been a
It's
pleasure.
been my pleasure.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you, Susan.
Good, thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.